Welcome to the Becoming babyREADY podcast, your podcast for queer family planning. My name is Sam, and throughout this podcast, you'll hear me have conversations with professionals who work alongside people who want to start and grow their families, as well as parents of intentionally created families. Everyone I speak to identifies as being part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community. This is your opportunity to learn answers to questions you didn't even know you had. Welcome, everyone. I am extremely excited and honored to be sitting here speaking with Aunjrya, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you what she does for a profession and a little bit about herself. Welcome.
Hello, welcome. It's so lovely getting to connect with you.
Yes.
So my name is Aunjrya. I'm a registered nurse and international board certified lactation consultant. I work a little bit with the public sector and also a bit in my private practice doing some lactation work. So yeah, that's a little intro about me.
Excellent. How does the work that you do specifically help those in the 2S LGBTQIA+ community start or grow their respective families?
Yeah, so my private practice provides a non-judgmental, queer-friendly place for people to come and ask questions and make informed decisions about their feeding journey. I see families before babies arrive, once babies are here, and during transitional periods, like going back to work. And it's a safe space just to come ask all those questions. It's not, it's not completely nature, all of this. It does take a little bit of working out. So I'm here to help in all of those ways.
Are there things that you might look for or that your clients might say you are better suited to, that as a member of the 2S LGBTQIA community, that your heterosexual peers may just not have that same ability based, working in the same or similar professions?
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful experience to be cared for by someone from your own community. There's
Right.
a level of understanding or kinship that's created just in our lived experiences and that help to create a safe environment to share your story and your experiences and feel cared for in this whole process. I also understand with my lived experience that there's no cookie cutter way to make a family. So I'm very clear to ask you what your pronouns are, what you call yourself, who your family is, and your community that surrounds you. Make sure I'm not making any assumptions about you and your family so that you feel completely seen in this process. And also, I have some tips and tricks that maybe some queer families might be more interested in, like induced lactation, relactation, stopping a milk supply that you're not interested in, bottle feeding in a way that mimics body feeding so that you can have that full bond with your baby, regardless of kind of how your journey looks. So I feel like all of that and my lived experience really help to inform my relationship with my queer clients to make them feel a little bit more connected during these pretty vulnerable times that they're coming to see me.
Yeah. And you raised a good point, and you stated something there that I think is understood in the queer community differently than it is in the heterosexual community, and that is who their family is. Because it is not uncommon, unfortunately, in the world that we live in, for many members of our own community to feel isolated from their families of birth, and they create a family of choice and support. And I don't know, certainly I don't mean to dismiss and suggest that there are not heterosexual individuals who feel like they've had to do the same kind of thing. Absolutely, that is a fact. It is just a surprisingly large group of people in the 2S LGBTQIA+ community who feel that way. And so to know that there's someone like you that welcomes them and the people that they've chosen in as well, that it doesn't just, we can only have your parents or your siblings here, but who are the people you've chosen, right?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Very big.
And to feel safe and welcoming with that, right? Are there any pearls of wisdom that you've learned over the years working with your clients that they are especially lucky to learn from you that they might not learn from anyone else?
Oh, Sam. So I worked as a labor and delivery nurse for quite a few years. So I have seen lots
It
of
all.
families, yes, it all, and seen a lot of kind of what works for people and what kind of doesn't work. And for what works, I would say it's kind of like two categories. One, I would say plan for your birth. People always come in saying, I want a healthy baby. That's perfectly fine. I want a healthy baby for you. You want a healthy baby. Your whole medical team wants a healthy baby. But I always encourage people to create a birth plan that goes beyond just the health of your baby. Consider things that might enrich your experience. Maybe that's music or a water birth. Maybe consider a doula. Maybe consider adding in some religious or cultural rituals or ceremonies, things that would really enrich your experience and not just focus on the end goal. There is, going through it and not just getting to the end of that.
Yeah.
And with that birth plan, share it with everyone. Share it at every appointment with your doctors, your doulas, your family, your partner. Make it known to absolutely everyone before you
Yeah.
even get to the hospital or
Yes.
your birth center, or your home, everyone to know what that is. And if you're going to the hospital, print that out and they will put it in like the first page of your chart so everyone is aware of what's going
Yeah.
on. I think that would be my like number one thing for your birth. And then my second part is postpartum. Prepare for your postpartum journey. By that, I mean, how are you going to feed your baby? Lots
Mhm.
of people think that they only need to come and see a lactation consultant when things are going wrong and
They
baby is
do.
there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah. Do it
So,
before.
yeah, I really encourage that. I really encourage you to have a
Yeah.
conversation with someone before, work out those kinks, ask those questions, and get like a plan that works for you and your family. So you work out those kinks. So by the time baby is here, you're not making up those steps in the moment while you're sleep deprived and your baby is screaming at you and you don't have the tools beforehand. And if
Mhm.
something, has a hiccup or goes wrong once you're feeding baby, then you already have a friendly face that knows you and your story. You don't have to explain your family all over again. We can just
Mhm.
pick it right up where we left off and try to help you with whatever issue that you're particularly going through at the time.
Yeah. It
Um,
is always easier to ask a question or a favor or for help from someone who you've met before or spoken to before
mhm.
than while you're in the thick of the chaos reaching out to a stranger, right?
Yeah,
I
it's yeah.
fully agree. Yes.
Absolutely. It's a stressful time. There's like a tiny human that's demanding to be fed, demanding your attention. And you don't want to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning Googling like, who is this Andrea girl? Can she help me? Right. So
But she
that's
can.
she can. I can definitely help you. But yeah, so getting that help beforehand so that you can really make sure that once you're in there, you have all of these rich supports to help you through. Two other things: make sure that you plan how to take care for yourself, right? You have to make sure you fill your cup so that you can take care of this crying human that's requiring so much of you. So
Mhm.
plan ways that you're going to get enough sleep. You're going to eat enough. You're going to drink enough. We always say in the hospital, sleep when baby sleeps. But honestly, I rarely ever see that happen, right? People really don't listen to that, or they have all of their family in at the same time and no one's sleeping and no one's doing other things. So I get it. It's a truly happy time, but really plan ways to take care of yourself and fill your cup, because this is a roller coaster of a ride that you're going to be on. It's a fun one. It really is
Yeah.
an amazing one, but it is a ride. And
Yeah.
last one is your support system. Support systems are really, really important. And find ways to set boundaries with your support system. Tell your friends you can bring food, but you can only drop it at the door. Tell your partner, I need you to clean up the entire house. Find those boundaries where you can let people in to help you, but create them so that you feel, like you've created a safe space and people aren't overstepping your boundaries. My mom is lovely. She's lovely. She's one of those people that would definitely overstep those boundaries coming in. It's all in the sake of having a grandbaby and wanting to be there and experience all of it, and that's totally lovely, and I would really love for you to have that experience. But my experience of having my babies is different. You had yours, you had me, and I'm wonderful.
Yes.
But
And thank you for that.
yeah, and thank
But
you for that. Right. But now I get to have my experience, and I get to control it in a way that makes me feel empowered with myself and my wife, so that we feel we got this really great experience. So I'm going to tell you, you can bring me food, you can drive me home from the hospital, you can do these things to really help me, but these other things, I'm going to need you to respect my boundaries. So that is a really important one. And the pandemic allowed some people to have that bubble in hospital, especially, that some were really grateful for and others weren't, and that's fine. So it really, different strokes for different folks. But yeah, so
absolutely.
yeah.
Hold on for just a moment. We'll be right back.
Cuddle your baby in comfort in Moon Mama postpartum underwear, designed to not only keep you comfy, but also feel special. Each pair is hand-dyed, making them unique, just like the person wearing them. Visit us at heymoonmama.com and use code SAMLEESON for 15% off your purchase. That's SAMLEESON. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at Hey Moon Mama. Stay comfy.
You again, you raise wonderful points, many, but one that I'm going to circle back to is this conversation and setting boundaries. I mean, you and your wife are on the journey of wanting to start your family. Have you started having the conversations yet?
Oh, yes. Very, very far in advance. I think since we started dating 5 years ago, that we were like, all right, let's have some conversations and set boundaries way in advance, so that when they're pushed against now, we can push back against them, so that, as we get closer to the time, it's a bit more of an understanding of these are our boundaries. It's all love. Nothing is a punishment, but like, this is how I need to take care of myself.
Yeah. And that's amazing. As you and your wife are going through this journey and you're embarking upon the process, have you at any point on the process so far for yourselves ever been made to feel like you're the other?
Yes, absolutely. So my partner and I are in the midst of our fertility journey. We've done every appointment under the sun. We are just waiting for kind of our funded cycle to come through. And while everyone we have interacted with has been truly lovely, the systems that we're working with are quite antiquated, right? The forms that we have to sign really still ask for our husbands, or who, like different things about like our sex life that wouldn't make sense for the kind of couple that we are, despite, posting rainbow flags everywhere and saying that we're so, queer friendly, really running up against all of those things that just, take you out of the moment. It really makes you feel like, this process is for people who are having difficulties with pregnancies or fertility problems, not for people who are maybe missing a part or two and need a little help from science. So that's definitely been a bit of our experience. And I am science minded. I love statistics. I adore statistics. And there are none really for people like me who are trying to, have a baby, but, like knock on wood, don't have any fertility issues, or, like have it, right? So, who just need a little bit of science. And it would be lovely to see that, especially because this journey, it's not free. So, to see, right, like how, our decisions will impact us and what our chances are of having the family that we dream of.
Yeah. Yes. And I was talking to someone else today just about how those little microaggressions, and that's truly what they are, when the paperwork is supposed to be universal for everyone, but really truly is geared for clearly a different audience, how those start to weigh on you after a while when you see them over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be a great experience.
Yeah, and it's definitely been pretty fun. I've definitely had to manage some of my expectations. We like a part of our process is going to like a mandatory therapy session, which like we were definitely bitter about in the beginning, but has turned out to be truly wonderful. The counselor that we connected with really was quite great and helped us, like understand our journey a little bit more and have such like grace and appreciation for creating our family with such incredible intention and how incredibly special that is to create our family in this way. So to frame it in a little bit of a different way, but definitely those microaggressions in the beginning riled me up like no other. But definitely it's been like a year and a half of being like on a list, waiting, doctor's appointments, all of these stuff. So it feels like a hurry up and wait situation, but we're getting, but we're getting there, and it's getting really exciting.
Excellent. I know that I asked this next question, understanding that there's always going to be inherent bias, just simply because you've agreed to be a part of this show. So, I say, you, as you're looking at this journey and starting this journey or being on it already, you're not just starting, you're well into the whole process of getting your baby and growing your family. Do you see a benefit from there being a show like this? And what kinds of things would you say would make this show more robust and appeal more to you from where you guys are on your journey?
Yeah, so we definitely deep dove into the internet, starting our journey, trying to find any couples who were like us, groups, all that. And we found quite a bit of that stuff. But what we found was lacking was kind of like someone who would be helpful in a show like this would be like maybe a fertility clinic or an IVF guru who gave you like a flow chart that tells you like, if you want to go on this journey, if you say yes to this, go to the left. If you say no to that, go to the right, just to kind of demystify the whole process and the steps that you have to go through once you start this journey. And honestly, the cost that each different thing, it really, really counts when you're counting all of your pennies to demystify the money, the steps, all of that you can't find unless you like book an appointment with someone, and that appointment takes a couple weeks, and then they can't give you the full answer because you've got to speak to someone else. So constantly doing that back and forth and just wanting those answers that like IVF coordinator or like a flow chart would have been truly helpful and lovely. And like a statistician to tell me what the odds are, I could be the 0.01%, but at least if I know what everybody else is going through, I've got some idea of what to expect, rather than this like choose your own adventure, which is so beautiful. It really is so beautiful.
Yes.
But it's confusing as all hell.
It really is. It really is. It really is. Is there anything that we haven't covered yet that you were really hoping to make sure that we spent a few minutes discussing tonight?
I'm not really sure. I think just kind of the importance of lactation consultants. I really wish that it was covered under OHIP and everyone got it for free. That would be my true like magic wand test. But understanding that it is really important, and putting that effort in at the beginning can really help your journey as you go along. And with that, I know that it's not for free. So my little like tip or trick is, if you have an EAP program with your workplace, it's Employee Assistance Program. Sometimes you can connect with them and they can connect you to a particular company calls it like a mama coach. And you can connect with them and you can see me. I work with some of them, and you can get free lactation care or like baby prep or just any of that type of stuff free through your employer. So I always say and encourage my families to see kind of what their EAP programs offer, so that you can get some of these things for free, because they're really helpful, but they're quite expensive sometimes. So that's my little tip to anyone out there.
For sure.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't realize that lactation consultants, if they're IBCLCs, are covered by some insurance plans too, if people have insurance plans through their employer. And that just makes it feel that much more accessible, right? Even if it's only covered 50%, 50% of a cost makes it feel like it's more manageable. And and we have, if you're not feeding your baby from your body, then you're paying for baby food. So perhaps if you can invest a little bit into making sure you've got that support and care from an IBCLC, you get the food and the advice and the wisdom and the experience, right?
Yes. And a happy cheerleader for you.
Absolutely. Somebody who's on your side, because sometimes it feels, I'm sure you've heard families questioning and friends and colleagues questioning when you're talking to a new parent about feeding their baby, and they're questioning, why are you still doing this? Having that connection to a lactation consultant, which isn't to say that a lactation consultant is going to come in and say you feed from your body and only from your body and nothing else matters, because I assume your philosophy is much like many of my friends who are lactation consultants, and that is baby needs to be fed, full stop. How baby is fed is something we'll work through, but baby needs to eat. And
absolutely. Yeah.
But some of us feel deeply in our souls that we either will or won't feed from our bodies. And so to have people question us on either side makes us feel unsupported. So having an LC in your corner is the kind of cheerleader that you just need to be able to lean on sometimes, right?
Most definitely. Yeah.
We're
here for whatever makes you whole, happy, and empowered. I'm here for your informed choice, not to push my choice onto you.
Right. Yeah. Fair. How do people find you? How do they get in touch with you and say, come help me?
Yeah. So I've got a website, which is babyhippie.ca. From there, you can connect with me through my Instagram, my Facebook, or just my email, which is info@babyhippie.ca. BABYHIPPIE. I don't know if that's the right way everyone spells baby hippie, but that's mine.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, so there you can connect with me. You can follow along on Instagram. I post some fun things, some real families going through stuff, and just some like helpful tips or tricks. So yeah, I'd love if you followed along on my journey and I could help you in any way.
That'd be amazing. I love this. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and to give us some insight from your perspective and helping people just have happy parenting experiences when those babies arrive.
Yeah, it's been lovely connecting with you. I could talk about this stuff all day. So
as can I. So I'll just hit stop here and then.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today on the Becoming Baby Ready podcast. If you have a story that you'd like to share, or you know someone who might, if you're a professional who works in the capacity of helping people start and grow their families, and you identify as being a part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community yourself, then please don't hesitate to reach out. We always have room for more stories to share, and there's always more learning to do.